chill. Good morning. Good morning. Hauhitan is my name. My English name is Aaron Thomas, and welcome to the Daily Sovereignty Report for Monday, June 8th, 2026. This is your essential briefing on the policy, the politics, and the economic shifts shaping Indian country today. Now, whether you are leading a tribal nation or you're just at home hanging out on the reservation, drinking a cup of nice hot coffee, here is what you need to know right now. First, a major win on Medicaid protections. Yesterday, we talked a little bit more about H.R. 1 bill. Well, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has issued a draft guidance for that H.R. 1 bill. Crucially, the guidance reaffirms that American Indian Alaska Native beneficiaries, along with anyone eligible for services through IHS, Indian Health Services, or tribal health facilities, are exempt from Medicaid work requirements. And we talked about this yesterday. And so the National Indian Health Board is currently analyzing fine print to ensure that these tribal protections are upheld. And so we want to make sure that you know about that. Make sure you contact your representatives in DC to make sure that healthcare beneficiaries is protected. Now, turning to regulatory reform, tomorrow, Tuesday, June 9th, NAFOA, the Native American Finance Officers Association President Rodney Butler, good dude. Hi, President. How you doing? Who's also chairman of the Mashantucket Pequot Tribal Nation, is scheduled to testify before the House Subcommittee on Indian and Insular Affairs. He will address the tribal regulatory reform, the Implementation Act of 2026, or H.R. 8954. Now, this bill proposes shifting economic development oversight from the Department of Commerce to the Department of Interior to streamline tribal businesses' operations. So that's really big. We really want to make sure that he does well. I'm sure he will. He's a great man. He's got a great head on his shoulders, and we really wish him all the best of luck as he continues to try to streamline tribal business operations on the way the federal government sees us. Now, on the food sovereignty front, because I know a lot of tribes love to make sure that we have, and again, all kinds of sovereignty. We're flexing our sovereign muscles. But on the food sovereignty front, the Native Farm Bill Coalition is pressuring the Senate to restore a tribal food purchasing pilot program. Now, this program was omitted from the White House version of the Farm Bill. Now, the pilot, part of the food distribution program on Indian reservations, allows tribes to purchase traditional and local foods directly rather than relying solely on USDA shipments. So that's big. Again, on the food sovereignty front, make sure you're keeping up on that one, please. And in tax reform, because nobody likes to pay taxes, neither do we, and we shouldn't be. Indians should not be taxed per the U.S. Constitution, by the way. The Tribal Tax and Investment Reform Act is moving through Congress. Now, the goal is to allow tribes greater flexibility to issue tax-exempt bonds. This finally puts tribal governments on par with state and local governments. So again, for economic development projects, this is big. You want to make sure that if you're going to go out there and get a bunch of money, that you actually get tax credits for that, just like the states have been doing for decades. This is huge for Indian country. So let's shift gears a little bit in political news. The Native Organizers Alliance Action Fund has officially applauded former Interior Secretary Deb Haaland's historic primary victory. As we reported yesterday on the Daily Sovereignty Report, Deb Haaland, Auntie Deb, we call her, did great. She, all the folks out in New Mexico, she won with a 72% of the votes. She is a candidate for governor of New Mexico, which marks a significant step, potentially becoming the first Native American female governor in U.S. history. Yes. Also this month, tribal leaders continue to build on the momentum from the 2026 State of Indian Nations Address. Now, the focus remains on inherent rights and collective leadership to protect tribal sovereignty against emerging federal challenges, because we know they're out there. So congratulations to the Tribal Supreme Court Project. They are commemorating their 25th anniversary, marking a quarter century of defending tribal sovereignty before the U.S. Supreme Court. We need that, man. That all the way up to the highest court, we've got somebody acting on our behalf. So thank you so much. All right, a third segment today on this daily sovereignty report is on economic and infrastructure. And economic development rules are being finalized to confirm that wholly owned tribal entities have the same tax status as their owning tribes. This makes them fully eligible for Inflation Reduction Act tax credits via elective pay or directive pay. That's huge. Again, if you're a business owner living on the reservation, you want to have that same status as the tribal government. That's gigantic. We'll be following that here on the Daily Sovereignty Report. On infrastructure, the Bureau of Indian Affairs has closed its second round of the Tribal Electrification Program. A total of $145.5 million is being distributed to tribes to support energy independence. That's good. It's a good start. I'm not saying it's a whole ton of money, but at least it's better than nothing, right? In environmental news, the Warm Springs tribe, we're going to give you a big shout out. Their tribal chairman, Dennis White III, has voiced urgent concerns regarding a recent industrial spill in Washington state. He is calling for immediate environmental accountability to protect the Columbia River, which is a critical resource for a lot of indigenous communities. So good luck with that, Chairman White. All right, our fourth segment, it comes with action items and deadlines. There are two key deadlines for tribes to note. First, public comments on the CMS interim final rule regarding Medicaid protections are being accepted through July 31st of this year. Second, a reminder that policy resolutions for the 2026 NCAI mid-year convention were due at the end of May to address urgent national matters affecting tribal nations. So make sure that you continue to follow this podcast. We're going to be putting out deadlines like this to make sure that you are in the know and make sure that you don't miss deadlines because sometimes that happens, right? We get caught up in the day-to-day stuff that we forget to put stuff on our calendar, and we need all tribal key staff, tribal leaders to really pay attention to those deadlines so we don't miss out. Well, that wraps up your daily sovereignty report. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Aaron Thomas. Hauhitan is my traditional hereditary name. Stay informed and remember, stay sovereign.